Over 60. Drink this to increase blood flow in legs and feet fast. When you cross 60, something happens inside your legs that most people are never told. The tiny vessels that used to open and close easily, almost effortlessly, begin to lose their flexibility. And here's the part almost no one talks about. Research published by the American Physiological Society found that by age 65, the microvessels in the lower legs can deliver up to 30% less oxygen during everyday movement simply because the vessel walls stiffen faster in the legs than in the arms. That's why your feet get colder, why standing up feels slower, and why walking the same block you've walked for years suddenly feels heavier. It's not just age. It's blood flow, but here's the good news: your daily habits can influence these vessels far more than most people realize. What you drink and eat each day is constantly sending chemical signals to those arteries. Some foods make the vessels tighten. Others, especially certain teas, help them open, relax, and deliver warm, steady blood right where you need it most. And that's exactly why this video was created, to give you simple, everyday tools that actually change the way blood reaches your legs. Before we dive in, I'd love to know something. Where are you watching from? Drop your state or your city in the comments. It helps me see how far this community is reaching. And it lets me understand who I'm talking to, because if you're here, I genuinely care that you're taking steps to feel better. Now, let's start with the first tea, the one famous for its deep red color and its surprising impact on aging blood vessels. 1. Hibiscus tea. Hibiscus doesn't just make a pretty red cup, there's something surprisingly powerful happening the moment those petals hit hot water. A little-known fact many Americans don't realize is that the USDA measured hibiscus to contain one of the highest natural anthocyanin concentrations among commonly consumed herbal beverages, over 200 milligrams per cup. For someone over 60, that matters because anthocyanins act almost like gentle relaxant signals to the vessel lining, helping stiff arteries open just enough to let blood move with less resistance down into your legs. And if you've ever felt that heavy, dragging sensation after sitting too long, you'll feel why that matters in real life. What gives hibiscus a special edge is how it quietly boosts nitric oxide availability, your body's own mechanism for widening vessels, without the jittery effect of caffeine. I've seen many older adults say their legs feel warmer within days, long before they expect any difference. And here's something most people never do but makes hibiscus noticeably stronger: let it steep until the color is a deep wine red, usually around 10 minutes instead of the typical 3 to 5. Longer steeping extracts far more of those vessel-soothing compounds. If you really want an extra kick, crush 1/2 teaspoon of dried petals between your fingers and drop them in after brewing. That small action releases fresh polyphenol that don't usually make it into the first extraction. It's simple, it's comforting, and for many folks past 60, it feels like finally giving your legs the circulation they've been quietly asking for. 2. Ginger tea. Ginger is one of those roots Americans keep in the kitchen without realizing how deeply it can influence circulation, especially in older legs where blood tends to slow. What makes it special is gingerol, a compound the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health notes as responsible for ginger's warming action. That warmth is not just a sensation, it's mild thermogenic vasodilation, meaning the vessels naturally loosen and allow blood to travel more freely into your calves and feet. You'll feel that gentle heat spreading outward within minutes of drinking it. Something interesting, rarely mentioned, is that fresh ginger contains nearly double the gingerol content compared to dried ginger. According to USDA phytochemical analyses, which is why using fresh slices makes such a noticeable difference. And if you want ginger tea to work harder for your legs, crush the slices with the back of a spoon before you drop them into the mug. That tiny act breaks the fibers and releases much more gingerol than slicing alone. I often tell people, measure out 1 tablespoon of freshly crushed ginger for an 8-ounce cup, because that's the amount that consistently produces enough warmth to help vessels respond. As the tea moves through your system, many older adults describe a subtle but very real shift. Like the legs wake up with better oxygen delivery. It's not dramatic. Just steady, reliable support for blood flow when you need it most. 3. Green tea. Green tea may seem ordinary, but there's a reason scientists study it again and again. it consistently helps the vessel lining behave more youthfully. One standout finding from the Journal of the American College of Nutrition showed that a single cup of green tea improved endothelial responsiveness within minutes, a result that becomes even more pronounced with daily intake. The star here is EGCG, an antioxidant that acts almost like a polish for aging arteries, reducing the tiny irritations inside the vessel walls that make blood flow sluggish in the legs. When you're over 60, that smoothness matters. You feel it as steadier warmth, easier walking, and less stiffness after sitting. Most people don't realize this, but water that's too hot destroys a huge portion of EGCG. If you let the boiled water sit for around 2 minutes, just enough for it to drop closer to 170 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit, you'll keep far more of the active compounds intact. And there's an old trick many Americans don't use: squeeze in 3 drops of lemon. The vitamin C stabilizes EGCG during digestion, meaning your bloodstream actually absorbs more of it. There's nothing exotic about green tea, yet when brewed with a little intention, it becomes one of the most reliable daily habits for keeping leg circulation strong after 60. 4. Cinnamon tea. Cinnamon tea feels like comfort, but beneath that warmth is a compound called cinnamaldehyde, one the USDA identifies as making up roughly 60% of true Ceylon cinnamon's essential oil content, and the very compound that helps vessels relax and encourages smoother blood flow. For older adults, this warming circulation is often noticeable in the feet first, where blood tends to slow with age. Cinnamaldehyde interacts with tiny receptors along the vessel walls that help regulate expansion, and when those vessels open even slightly, the legs get the oxygen and warmth they've been missing. Many Americans brew cinnamon like a regular tea, but the secret is this: cinnamon doesn't release its active compounds well with simple steeping. It needs a gentle simmer for 12 to 15 minutes, long enough for the sticks to soften and release their oils. Using Ceylon cinnamon instead of the more common cassia also matters, because Ceylon contains cleaner, lighter oils that dissolve into water more easily. An extra trick, one older folks find surprisingly effective, is to drop in 1/4 teaspoon of lemon zest while simmering. The natural citrus oils help pull more cinnamaldehyde from the bark. The result is a deeper, warmer cup, one that genuinely supports lower leg circulation and feels like a quiet, steady pulse of heat spreading downward. 5. Turmeric tea. Turmeric tea carries a kind of quiet strength that most people don't realize until they feel the difference in their legs. Curcumin, the golden pigment inside turmeric, does something remarkable for older circulation. It helps the blood vessels stay flexible instead of tightening up with age. What makes turmeric uniquely valuable for people over 60 is how it reduces the internal stickiness inside blood vessels, allowing blood to move with less friction into the calves and feet. One detail I always find fascinating is a report from the National Institutes of Health, showing that curcumin improved arterial comfort in older adults in a way comparable to light aerobic exercise. That means for someone whose knees or hips don't move like they used to, turmeric becomes a kind of warm, drinkable support for healthier blood flow. If you want the tea to work harder, you can do something extremely simple: add just 1/8 teaspoon of ground black pepper. It sounds tiny, but that pinch increases curcumin absorption dramatically because of a compound called piperine. And here's a trick most Americans never use: let the turmeric simmer for 8 full minutes before drinking. The heat unlocks curcumin that otherwise stays trapped in the powder. When you drink it warm, many people feel a gentle loosening in their legs, almost like the blood can reach places that felt cold or ignored for too long. Turmeric doesn't shout, it works steadily, and for those past 60, that steady warmth can feel like getting a small piece of vitality back. 6. Peppermint tea. Peppermint tea feels refreshing, but beneath that cool taste is a surprising effect on circulation, especially in older legs that get tight or heavy. Menthol, the natural compound that gives peppermint its cooling lift, activates small receptors along the blood vessels that help ease muscular tension. And when the muscles around your lower legs relax, the vessels underneath can widen just enough for blood to glide instead of struggle. A lesser-known fact comes from the USDA's essential oil profile, showing that high-quality peppermint leaves contain one of the highest natural menthol concentrations among culinary herbs. That menthol doesn't just wake up your senses. It helps your legs feel lighter after long periods of sitting. If you want peppermint tea to genuinely support circulation, bruise the leaves, or crush the tea bag. Before steeping, even 5 seconds of pressure releases far more menthol than simply dropping it in the mug. And here's something older Americans find surprisingly effective: inhale the steam for 10 to 15 seconds before taking your first sip. The menthol vapor triggers a gentle relaxation response that starts before the tea even hits your stomach, helping the vessels in your legs loosen sooner. Peppermint tea may taste simple, but when prepared intentionally, it creates a cool clarity in the legs, like tension melting just enough to let blood move freely. 7. Rooibos tea. Rooibos tea is one of the most overlooked circulation boosters for older adults, partly because it isn't as famous as green or black tea. But its deep red color hides a compound called aspalathin, rare in the plant world, and this compound supports smoother blood flow by calming oxidative stress inside the vessel walls. Older arteries often feel tired, almost overworked, and rooibos offers a kind of soothing relief that helps them expand more naturally. One interesting detail comes from the South African Medical Research Council, which found that rooibos increased antioxidant activity in the bloodstream for hours after drinking, giving aging vessels exactly the kind of environment where they can relax and deliver better flow to the legs. If you want rooibos to hit its full strength, let it steep longer than any other tea. 12 minutes is the sweet spot where aspalathin and quercetin fully release. Many Americans stop at 5 minutes, but rooibos rewards patience. You can also add 1/2 teaspoon of honey right after steeping. The warm sugars help transport certain rooibos compounds through digestion more smoothly, enhancing the calming effect on the vessels. And the best part? Rooibos has no caffeine at all, so older adults can drink it at night and feel their legs warm gently as blood moves more freely. It's the kind of tea that doesn't just help circulation, it supports an easier evening, deeper comfort, and steadier legs for the next morning. If you're watching this and you care about keeping your legs strong, warm, and alive with real circulation, don't wait, hit subscribe so you never miss the tools that can protect your health. Tap like so more people your age can find this information, and please share this video with someone you love. Circulation problems are silent until they suddenly aren't. And if there's any topic you want me to explain in a future video, write it in the comments so I can make content that truly serves you. To wrap this up, improving blood flow isn't a luxury, it's what keeps your balance steady, your feet warm, and your independence intact, and the simple daily choices you make can transform how your legs feel. Now let me ask you this: are you ready for the next step that can make your circulation even stronger? While you wait for that video, watch the one on screen right now so you can start protecting your health before the next lesson arrives.